Tell me if this sounds familiar. Your phone buzzes with a text from a friend saying they are in the neighborhood and want to stop by. Instead of feeling excited, you feel a sudden wave of panic. You look around at your living room, even if it is perfectly clean, and feel a desperate urge to say no. When the doorbell rings unexpectedly, you freeze in place, hoping that if you stay quiet enough, whoever is on the porch will simply go away. If you find the idea of hosting guests more exhausting than enjoyable, you have likely been labeled as antisocial, cold, or rude. But here is the twist. The psychology of people who hate having guests over is not about a lack of social skills. It is about a deep, biological need for a fortress. In a society that romanticizes the open-door policy and the constant host, choosing to keep your home private feels like a social crime. Yet, for a significant portion of the population, the home is the only place where the social mask can finally come off. While everyone analyzes why some people are the life of the party, almost nobody asks why others feel a physical need to keep people out of their personal space. Is this hatred of guests a sign of social anxiety, or is it actually a sign of a highly developed territorial instinct? To understand this, we have to look at a concept psychologists call the dramaturgical analysis. Sociologist Irving Goffman described human life as a theater. We have a front stage where we perform for colleagues, strangers, and even friends. On this stage, we engage in what is called social masking. We smile when we are tired, we ask polite questions when we are bored, and we suppress our true frustrations to maintain social harmony. This masking requires a massive amount of cognitive fuel. It is literal work for your brain. Then, there is the backstage. This is your home. It is the one place in the world where the performance stops. Here you can be silent, you can look tired, you can stare at a wall for 20 minutes without anyone asking if you are okay. The home is the recovery zone where the mask is removed and the battery is recharged. The problem arises when a guest enters your home. To you, this feels like an invasion of the backstage. Suddenly, your sanctuary becomes another stage. You are forced to put the heavy social mask back on in the very place where you are supposed to be naked, metaphorically speaking. This causes a specific type of psychological dissonance. Your brain is screaming for rest, but your social conditioning is demanding a performance. You have to entertain, offer drinks, and keep the conversation flowing. This conflict creates a deep, heavy exhaustion before the guest even arrives. For people with high social sensitivity, this is not just annoying. It is a violation of their recovery process. You are essentially bringing the drain into the charging station. One of the biggest drivers of this feeling is what neuroscientists call hypervigilance. When you are alone, your nervous system can switch to a parasympathetic state, which is the rest and digest mode. But the moment a guest walks through the door, your brain switches back to the sympathetic nervous system, the state of alertness. You enter a state of continuous partial attention. You are watching their glass to see if it needs refilling. You are monitoring the temperature of the room. You are analyzing their micro-expressions to see if they are bored or judging your decor. This is not just being a good host. It is a high-functioning anxiety response. Your amygdala, the threat detection center of your brain, remains active because there is an outsider in your safe zone. Even if it is a friend you love, your biological instinct registers them as an unpredictable variable that must be managed. You cannot fully relax until the deadbolt is turned and you are alone again. Beyond that, many individuals who hate having guests have what is called a high territorial orientation. To them, the home is a sacred extension of the self. In nature, a territory is a space that provides safety and resources, and the instinct to protect it is hardwired into our DNA. When someone enters your home, they are literally entering your primary defense zone. This is why you might feel a strange irritation when a guest touches your books, moves a pillow, or simply stays too long. It is not pettiness. It is a biological signal that your territory is being compromised. Social perception also plays a large role here. We live in a culture of impression management, where we are constantly aware of how our choices affect our reputation. Having guests over means your private life is now on display for judgment. You worry about the mess, the smell, or the awkward silence. For many, the mental labor of managing a guest's comfort is simply too expensive. It is a strategic awareness of how your space reflects on you, and for some, the simplest solution is to keep the curtain closed to preserve their image and their sanity. And then there is the quieter reason, which is the love of ritual and stillness. People who prefer a guest-free home often find joy in small, private rituals that guests would inevitably interrupt. They find peace in the morning coffee routine, the specific way they sit on the couch, or the silence of a Sunday afternoon. These people do not need the world to entertain them because their inner world is rich enough. Staying home without guests isn't about doing nothing. It is about protecting the space where your thoughts can finally expand without interruption. The absence of guests does not mean the absence of a social life. It simply means you prefer to meet on neutral ground, a coffee shop, a park, a restaurant, where you can leave when your battery is low. It means you value the sanctity of your fortress. In the end, the psychology of people who hate having guests is not about being broken or boring. It is about territorial integrity, sensory management, and a deep respect for personal peace. Whether you are a master host or someone who hides when the doorbell rings, what matters most is that you choose your boundaries consciously. If your home is your refuge and not a cage, you are practicing a form of self-awareness that society often overlooks. If this resonated with you, you are probably going to love why quiet people are actually processing information completely differently than everyone else, and why that might be your biggest advantage. Click one of these videos to find out why you think a little differently than the crowd.